Greetings, Dan here, 7th of May, and today I'm going to be setting some bitter melon seeds. So otherwise known as bitter gourd, Ampalaya, I'm sure there's many other names for them as well. Very interesting thing to grow, certainly different, bitter in taste, an acquired taste, but said to have several different medicinal benefits. So do your own research to see if it's suitable for you to grow, but very interesting indeed, used very much in sort of Southeast Asian cuisine. So I've grown these before, I've had good results with them, I've got plenty of videos on them, but I want to take you through the entire process of growing them, and that's what this video is all about. So anyway, now I've got some seeds here, have a look at them. They're sort of curious looking things, quite cool looking. Now, tricky to germinate, they really are, and what I suggest you do is get as many seeds from as many different sources as you can get them from. Have a look on eBay, etc, but have a look around, and so, you know, 4 or 5 sources if you can, because you want to increase your chances of germination of these certainly interesting fruits to grow. Anyway, let's make a start. Now, with regards to growing medium in question for initial germination, I'm going to be using this, and this is multi-purpose compost, home-based brand with nothing else added to it. Now, they really need heat. You're looking at a minimum of 25 degrees C to about 30 degrees C. That would be ideal for germination. So that's about 77 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to be getting my little cell trays here. So I've got one here. There's 6 cells in that one. I've got 4 in this one, and I've already filled this one up. So I'll show you how I'm going to fill this one up with the multi-purpose compost. So I get my cell tray and I loose lay my compost in there. Try and take out any lumps. If you see lumps like that, look, just work them out. I don't compact it down because I want it to sort of be airy and free. Must be well draining, so I'm going to put that in there like that. Just fill it up to the top of the pots or pot cells, whatever you want to call them, and that's basically it for the time being. So seed wise, that's what you got. So I'm going to have them like that, planted on their side. Got my cell trays here, and let's see how I'm going to plant them. So literally just on their side like that, and they're going to be going about an inch or so deep. So what's that, about 1.5 centimetres, just like that, pushed in. Same again with this one. That's it. Nice soft compost base for these, don't want it firm. In there, and that's it. So there's 10 in there altogether. So there you go, a little close-up look, and you can see just how I've got them laid in the growing medium. Next stage is to cover up with the multi-purpose compost, just like so. I shall also put my tags on with the date planted, so the 7th of May in case of today, and bitter melons, what they are. Very helpful in my opinion to label what you're growing so you know what you're growing. So I'm going to water these in. Now it's currently about 15 degrees C here, which is around 59 degrees Fahrenheit. So ideally you don't want to be shocking your seeds with overly cold water, because if you think of a bitter melon, it's generally regarded as a warm climate fruit plant, etc. So it's a very cold day. It's a good idea to maybe warm up the water inside, you know, let it get to room temperature and then water. But 15 degrees C, 59 Fahrenheit, I'm confident that'll be just fine for this. So if your watering has pushed down the growing medium a little bit, you know, just get your hand, look, and just feel free to just put your hand, you know, top up your compost level a little bit. That's quite fine. So heat once again. This one here is actually going to be going inside in a windowsill propagator, not heated by any artificial means, heated by the sun through the window. I'll show you one down here. So I have a windowsill propagator here. So in case of this one, all that's going to happen, it's going to go in the one inside just like that, and then the top goes over like that, and that's placed in on the windowsill, and that once again, nice warm microclimate, really good for helping to germinate plants that need a nice warm temperature in order to germinate. So this one here I'm actually going to be leaving out here in the polytunnel because I don't have any more room inside. So with it remaining here in the polytunnel, also in my mini greenhouse here, what I do is I put that over the top. That's like a fruit punnet thing, you know, and once again, same idea with the microclimate. And all I will then do is move these back, making some room here. Put that in like that, look, and away we go. And if it's, you know, cold where you are, or at night time, whatever, you know, you can put that down and zip it up. I like to leave it open when I can. I don't want it too damp and humid in there. So, you know, nighttime closed, daytime open can be good if the weather's warm like it currently is. But anyway, there we are. So they should probably germinate within about 2 to 3 weeks, which will then plant out. They'll be planted out here in the polytunnel. They're not the sort of crop I would try and grow outside here in the UK, or indeed a similar climate. Greetings, it's the 1st of June, and today we are going to be planting out some bitter melon plants. So the ones I tried to germinate out here didn't germinate, but the ones I germinated inside, 2 did, and I brought them out here probably about a month or so ago. You don't want to be subjecting these to any frost. Ideally, you don't want to be going below about 20 degrees C, 68 Fahrenheit. So of course at night it is going to drop well below that, but a nice warm temperature as possible, 25 to about 30 degrees C, 77 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, there or thereabouts is very good. So these come from warm climates. The UK is not the sort of climate that you would generally, you know, see too many of these growing, but it can be done. I've done it before. I'll link a load of videos down below and you can look at those if indeed you wish to, but heat is very key here. So I'm going to be growing these in this polytunnel in here. Could you grow them outside? I dare say it's been done. Excusez-moi. I personally wouldn't bother in a climate such as the UK. We're in USDA zone 8B here, but if you want to give it a go, make sure you give them as nice warm microclimate as possible. I have tried to grow them outside before. I didn't have any success, but basically my point is plenty of heat. Grow them in a greenhouse or a polytunnel if you can. So soil, growing medium, etc. You need a nice fertile but yet well draining soil. These will not like to be sitting in too much moisture, and don't ever allow them to dry out either. So they're going to be planted down here in the polytunnel behind some aubergine plants I've got growing here. So let's plant them out and I'll show you how I intend to do that. If you look at them, look, they're nice plants, nice and healthy, and I had 2 out of the 4 here germinate, and this was the ones I tried to germinate out here. Nothing came up at all, so there we are. So out of I think 10 seeds set, I have got 2 plants, but I'm still happy. Let's go. So here we are down here. Now they're going to be growing up against this side of the polytunnel here. When they get bigger, they'll be able to latch onto the supports here and here, and I'll probably end up putting some beanpole canes up so they can grow up something, you know, whilst they get up there. So what I've got here is a bucket of some relatively well composted horse manure, and all I'm going to do is just put some down here. Nice little line of the manure. These are hungry plants, so they're going to want plenty of food, so to speak, and if you do this, they should do well in it. I'm just going to level it out a little bit using the old trowel there. In fact, I've actually got room for a little bit more manure there. There we go. As many of you are aware, I'm very much a believer in always adding to your growing mediums, always building your soil over time. There we are. Next stage, going to water. So this is rainwater from one of my water butts, which is always my preferred choice of water for my plants. Plenty of water, fully saturate it. So let's get one of our plants out, see what they look like. In fact, we'll just drop them both out. There we go, they look good. So my plants look very good actually. Got them out in time. Wouldn't want the root balls to be too compacted, so these are looking quite nice, holding their shape, but yet the roots aren't too densely packed, etc. So look at those and I'm happy with them. So let's plant up. Now, get my plant like this. All I do is make a hole just like that, and I'm going to simply pop that in. Depth wise, I'm going to go a centimetre or so below where the first leaves appear. Pop that in like that, firm it down, and that's it. Next one is going to go, oh, probably about a foot or so apart, maybe a bit less, 30 centimetres, something like that. Same depth, same procedure again. Push in, that's my plant, and firm in like that. I will then water them in. So this is just a little thing you can do. So slugs, snails, etc. don't like rubbing their bodies, you know, moving over sharp sand. So what I'm doing here is just putting a ring of sharp sand around the plants here. So it's not actually, in my experience, totally necessary with plants like bitter melons. I can't remember when I grew them before them being a particular favourite for slugs and snails, but you won't lose anything by doing this. So if you just want to give them a little extra bit of chance by giving them some sharp sand, you can. I have done in the past put black polythene around the bottoms of the plants here, the bases. That way it can help to warm up the growing medium underneath, but I'm not going to be doing that this year. I don't think there's going to be a problem. Very warm here in the polytunnel. Anyway, it's a little idea for you, and we'll await our crop. So 9th of October, and today I'm going to be picking some bitter melons here. So ideally you want to have them get as much sun as is possible. So you can see here I've got the grapevines growing up here. It is keeping some of the light from getting in, so they're not getting quite as much sunlight as what would have been ideal, but you know, can't get everything right. But anyway, I've got some nice crops here, so I've noticed 3, so I'm going to do some picking. So this one here is the biggest one, so you can see this stem here just there. I'm literally going to be cutting that there, so let's do that. So straight up with the scissors, here we are. That's our first bitter melon. So the way I like to tell if they're ripe and ready to pick is I want them still green but with a little bit of yellow on them. Don't want too much yellow because that could, at least to my knowledge, indicate over ripeness. But anyway, there we go, not on there. And we have our last one here. So you can see my lovely fruits here. That's the biggest one. Look, put my hand there, see that? Beautiful. And this one here, look, has the nice yellowy bit on, which is great. And this one as well, so really nice. Now I've noticed there's a few more yet to come, so starting to cool down a bit now. Whether these get to ripening stage or not, you know, who knows. I might take them out, I might leave them in a bit longer. So pollination, now I made no effort actually to hand pollinate these. I left it to the insects, you know, the bees, flies, pollinating insects, hoverflies, etc. that come in when the door is open, but I've got the door closed now because it's cooled down. So pollination could be an issue. So I'll show you just a little bit about hand pollination if you would like to get into that. But if you want to make more sure of this, you want to start hand pollinating once the male and female flowers appear. This is earlier in the year. So let's just have a little discussion about that. So if we look at this, this is a male flower. You can see it clearly there. Male, because you can see the flower there, look, lovely yellow flower, and the stem, and there's no fruitlet behind it, meaning no miniature bitter melon behind it. So this is a male flower, and what you'd want to do is get like a paintbrush or something, and that organ in the center of the flower, get some of that on your paintbrush. You could even remove the whole flower if you want, and peel the petals back and use that. And what you can do is locate your female flower. So you can see this here is a female flower. Now it's a little bit further on than the male flower. You can see there the fruitlet here, and this was a yellow flower. So what you do is you take the pollen from the male flower, and you would have rubbed it on that when it was a nice yellow flower on the end onto the female flower here, and hopefully that will help you with your pollination.